Today, guys, I wanted to give a fun recap on the Jack Daniel's World Championship Invitational Barbecue Competition.
We made it to the Jack.
So this year was the first year I got to go to the Jack, and we stopped really competing in 2018, so I never got the chance to go during that time, during our stretch. We really were competitive from about 2012 to 2018. Never got the chance. We didn't win the GC, so we didn't even get a chance to get our name pulled. So when the team, the BBQ Bus, got their name pulled, they asked if I wanted to come, and it was really awesome. And I had to move some stuff around. Schedules are busy this time of year. We're still in like peak wedding season, but I was able to pull it off, and I was like so excited when I finally made the decision to go down to the Jack this year. Something that I have been wanting to do for years now. The Jack is known as the most prestigious barbecue competition there is. All the big guys are there, and you not only have to be good to be at the Jack, but you also have to be lucky. So there's a few ways to get into the Jack, and if you know, you know. So these are the couple ways you can get in. First of all, you can get auto entry in, which basically means you win one of the 4 major competitions. So there's the Jack from the year before, the American Royal, Memphis in May, and the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Show. The winners from all those from the previous years gets to go. Then if you win 7 GCs in 1 year, you get an auto entry. Then the other way, the most traditional way, is all the state champion qualifiers have a basket of names of all the GCs. So in the state of Wisconsin, if there's 10 state qualifying competitions, all 10 names of the GCs go in, and then 1 name gets pulled out to go to the Jack. So the BBQ Bus got their name pulled. This is actually the 3rd time they've got their name pulled. They invited me a couple years ago to go. I couldn't make it, so they invited me again. I'm very grateful for that. It was very exciting. And cooking with the BBQ Bus team is Brian is the head pitmaster, and Brendan is his son. Both their wives came, Michelle and Kate. Very awesome people. So nice, so hospitable. Just a really good feeling being in their site and everybody working together. And Michelle actually entered in. They have something called Spookiest Home at the Hollow, and she decorated the campsite with a whole setup. Was very elaborate. We were feeling good about winning. We didn't get our name called for that one, but it was very exciting nonetheless. So going into the Jack and cooking with a team like the BBQ Bus, they were on a roll heading into the Jack. They just won GC with a 700-plus score at Murfreesboro. Murfreesboro is a huge competition. A lot of the big teams go down there for that. They had just coming off winning that, so they were on a roll. It kind of pains me to say, but they didn't need my help with the chicken, the ribs, the pork, and the brisket. They're dialed in just like some of those, just like all the other top teams are. They have their process. They weren't really going to change anything. I'd be there to support any way they wanted, of course, but they really didn't need me to help with those categories. So they asked me to cook the chef's choice and the dessert category. So going into that competition, how I thought about that is, 1, what can I execute on site, given that I wasn't going to be in the catering kitchen where you guys see me cooking every day. I was going to be out on site, barbecue competition style. And, you know, what did I have confidence cooking, stuff that I've done in the past, and definitely things that I really thought had a great chance to win. So the chef's choice category, I actually entered in something that I've done in this same type of barbecue competition category before. Some call it chef's choice, anything goes. It's basically you come up with the best dish you want to put forward. So something I've done in the past, we kicked it up even another notch, because what we did was pan-seared A5 Japanese Wagyu tenderloin topped with our New Orleans style barbecue shrimp on a bed of Pommes puree, which is mashed potatoes, some baby root vegetables, and asparagus, and then garnished with a potato gaufrette, which is basically a thin-cut waffle fry or waffle chip that we make with a mandolin. And it's got great plate presentation. It tastes delicious. It's tender to the bite. Again, thinking about it like a barbecue competition, they kind of judge you on 3 criteria, which is taste, tenderness, and appearance. So we wanted to make sure it was tasty, it was nice and tender to eat, and then it looked great, of course. A lot of the presentations for both the Chef's Choice and the dessert category really get elaborate. You know, they stack them up high, a lot of leaves and fall decor and stuff like that. But I went really clean and simple, wanted the food to speak for itself, and kind of like how I think about things as a chef. You know, you want to be able to eat and taste and have the experience of the food. I didn't need to add all this other stuff to it. And it did well for us. We got 9s in appearance across the board, both categories. So I was really happy about that. And then the dessert category, probably the single best thing I've ever had as far as dessert goes is a sticky toffee pudding. And it's kind of a funny story on how I actually had sticky toffee pudding the first time. We were interviewing years ago in the catering business. We were interviewing for Chef de Cuisine. And this guy came, and in every other aspect, he was a complete disaster. But he made the best food I've ever had. And specifically, for his tasting, he was 2 hours late to his tasting. He came in, all the rest of his food was good, but then at the very end, he came in with this dessert I've never even heard of or had before, and it was the sticky toffee pudding. It was so good, I hired him despite of everything else that was going on. Didn't have his driver's license, was 2 hours late. It was a disaster, but that's how good this dessert was. So props where props is due. So the recipe actually came from Gail Gant, who's a famous pastry chef in Chicago, and since then, I've actually developed a friendship with Gail. I called her. She gave me some more of the tips and tricks behind the recipe, and it came out delicious. Basically, it's a date cake. So if you've had like zucchini bread or something like that, kind of that same style of bread, except for it's made with dates. So it's a very neutral, sweet flavor profile. It doesn't taste like anything one or the other. It's just a really flavorful, sweet cake with a great texture. So you bake the cake like normal, then you glaze it with this toffee glaze, put it back in the oven. At the Jack, I actually put it back in the smoker. And then that toffee sauce gets all in there, nice ooey gooey, makes the cake really warm and moist and soft. And then we put some of the toffee sauce on the bottom of the plate, put the cake on it, topped it with Diplomat cream, which is kind of a unique cream sauce, which is half pastry cream, half whipped cream. And that was flavored with Jack Daniels and Madagascar vanilla, of course. And then we garnished it with some crushed candied pecans. And then we made a pecan bourbon brittle that was just amazing. It was really, really good. A little mint to garnish. And then we served that with a Jack Daniels Old Fashioned as well. And it looked dynamite. It tasted dynamite. I felt strongest about the dessert really going into it. And then, so we got to the awards. When we were at the awards, the announcer at the Jack, by the way, and everybody that knows about the Jack will know that this guy is second to none when it comes to announcing barbecue competitions. He's been doing the Jack for all 35 years that they've had the Jack. He's got this robust radio voice. He really knows what he's doing. So he announces that there was 13 perfect scores. And so I had to admit, I'm like, I better be one of these 13 because I didn't want to get less than 13th place. So that was in my mind. So they announced all 13 and they had, other prizes. So anybody that knows barbecue competition, the scoring is a little tricky, but there's 6 judges at a table and they judge you on taste, tenderness, and appearance. So 9 is the best score you can get. So a perfect score is 5 of those judges giving you all 9s because in a typical competition, they drop the lowest score. That's just how they do it. So they got to number 7, and then when they were calling number 6, they called BBQ Bus. And, of course, anytime you get your name called at the Jack for any category, any place, it's a big deal. I mean, this is the biggest, most prestigious barbecue competition there is. So we were going up. We were all excited. Then when we got down back after the fact, after you get home, you can go online and check your scores. Ended up that we tied for 5th place with the exact decimal point, reading. And that means that because of a coin toss, we missed winning one of the barrel heads. So, but we did get honorable mention ribbon, and something I haven't had before this is KCBS 180 pin. So very proud of that. Very excited to be part of that. It was kind of a tough rest of the competition because we didn't get called for Chef's Choice later. Like I said, after the fact, when we got all the scores, they only called top 3 for that category. We got 9th place, which still, if you look at the scores, we won our table. We did very good, but 9th place overall. And then we didn't get any other calls in the other categories, so that was kind of tough on the bus boys. But they were off a huge win in Murfreesboro, and it really depends on what table you land on. And with that many great teams, it's really tough business at the Jack. So, but overall, great experience. Friday night, you go up to the hill, and they have live music, dinner, huge Jack Daniel's gazebo, and then you get to meet everybody. So it was a special time. I saw friends from The Shed, Amy Mills, Sterling from Loot and Booty, Susie Bullock from Hey Girl Hey. She didn't know who I was, but I won't hold that against her. And many, many more. And it was so cool being up there with all the barbecue guys just hanging out, kind of getting ready for the next day, which is turn-in day and the big show. But had a good time. Then we went back to the campsite, went back. Brian stayed and got the pits going. Me and Brendan went back and caught a couple hours of sleep, and then went back around 5 in the morning. And then, we got ready to do all the turn-ins. It was a special time for me because I had wanted to go for so long, and I was really appreciative to the bus guys for inviting me. One memorable moment for me at the Jack was getting to hang out more with Sterling from Loot and Booty. We had connected back in 2017 at the NBBQA conference and just clicked right away. He's a great guy, has a ton of competition experience, and he's got his own line of sauces and rubs called Loot and Booty. And he told me a lot about the World Food Championships, which is a lot more like the dessert category and the Chef's Choice category. He recommended that I check that out. So it was a great conversation, and it's some of those like special moments you have with guys one-on-one that's really cool. And I don't get to have a lot of that because I don't go to a lot of the competitions anymore. And then getting to hang out with the Sheds people is always a good time. Brooke and Brad, they do such a great job. And they won 2 categories, and I can't remember exactly what they were. I think they got second place in the Chef's Choice, and then they won, I don't know Jack about grilling competition, which was kind of like a mystery basket I wasn't a part of, but they won that one. So it was fun to hear their name called a few times. And, we're just proud and happy to be part of that community. And anytime anyone gets their name called, LC's Barbecue, which cooked right next to us, won first place in brisket, and I had hardly seen a Texan more happy than that guy after the fact. He came back to the tent and he was having a great time singing with the sunglasses on. It was fun. So if someone's looking to try to get to the Jack, first of all, you have to get in and start doing competitions. If you're just started competitions or you're thinking about doing it and like aspiring to some of these bigger, higher profile events, you really have to get dialed in. So that means starting and practicing and having focus, because it's not by accident these guys get there. It takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of money, and you really have to want to do it. And that's why I feel blessed and grateful for them inviting me, because for me to spend the time to get good enough to win a GC and then get lucky enough to get your name pulled is, that takes years of dedication to really be able to do that. And, if you want to go to a big competition like this, it's going to take you some time to build up and get there. You just don't get there. And that's why it's so impressive. There's guys like Tuffy Stone, who has won multiple times at the Jack. It's not easy to do. It's not, and I can tell you firsthand after being there just recently, it's not easy to get a call at the Jack. There's so many good teams. There's so many variables involved with celebrity judges and stuff like that guys were talking about. If you hear your name called even one time at the Jack, it's a big deal for sure. So happy to be part of it this year, and we'll see if I get to go back again. I mean, I'd love to do it and do some more of these larger events, maybe just cooking with other teams, and that's quite all right with me. It was a lot of fun, and it was so special to me because I got to see some people I knew, but so many people came up to me and say, hey, just wanted to introduce myself. I love seeing your videos online. And, that's really cool to get that appreciation from your peers and cohorts that, we're really creating content for you guys. And that's what we enjoy doing. And it's not even about competition. It's about giving you information for anybody in barbecue. But a lot of the competition guys came up to me and said they enjoyed our content, and that made me feel good, and it was cool to see them, and people aren't shy at those things, so it was really nice to see. A couple other shout-outs was Sunny Mood came by the tent. She was filming for OBR and for B&B Charcoal. We did a quick interview. I got to say hi. We had talked on the phone a few times, when Food Network reached out to me to be on the Big Bad Barbecue Brawl, and she was on the season before, so I reached out to her to get some insights on that, and she stopped by the booth to say hi, so that was really nice to actually meet her in person. Who else did I see? Oh, this is cool. The CEO and the former CEO of the KCBS, so the current CEO or president is Rod Gray, big competition barbecue guy. He's taught classes. He's kind of done everything in competition barbecue. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, was appointed CEO or president of the KCBS. Before him was Carolyn Wells. She was president of the KCBS for years and years and years. Her and my uncle formed a special relationship, and she was very appreciative to see me there, and I told him if I didn't stop and say hi to you, Uncle Dave would be mad at me, so I did that, and she was very nice to talk to and catch up with. And Rod's going to be on the podcast coming up soon. He was interested in doing that, so I appreciate that he said yes. I had reached out to him on Facebook before the Jack, and I didn't hear back from him. But then when I saw him right away, he's like, oh, I sent you a message this morning, so that was kind of funny. But, yeah, so many good guys. I missed Dr. Barbecue, so I don't know what's up with that because we just had him on the podcast, and he said he was going to be down there. So I didn't see him, so I don't think he was down there. So I don't know if he got caught up in the hurricane. Seemed like he was okay after the content I saw he posted online. So I don't know if he got his plans rearranged or if he just didn't make it down or what. Yeah, just wanted to give a shout out one more time to the BBQ Bus guys for inviting me down. I had a great experience at the 35th anniversary for the Jack. I got my 180 pin, my Jack pin, my name badge, and a ribbon for my first time at the Jack. You can't complain about that. So happy. Thank you guys for listening. Check out our next episode coming out soon.